Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, where I, your host, Xavier Cruz, a lifelong wrestling fan, will take a lifelong friend through the action, the joys, and the drama of the world of professional wrestling. My co-host, Kelsey Silva, has been bitten by the wrestling bug, and I want to invite you to join us as I take her through the moments that made me a fan. So if you're new to wrestling and would like to get brought up to speed, or a fan who would like to relive some classic matches, promos, and segments through fresh eyes, join us as we embark on a journey through the Attitude Era and beyond. Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the November 11th, 1996 edition of Monday Night Raw, and the match card is as follows. For the Tag Team Championship, we had the British Bulldog and Owen Hart versus HBK Shawn Michaels and Sycho Sid. We had Mankind versus Freddie Joe Floyd, and in our main event, we had Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bob Holly. All right, this episode was short on matches, but long in plot. So
as usual, the last few weeks, that's all it's been. It's just like plot, 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 plot.
Yeah, there's been a lot, and it's been thickening.
Yeah, it's been giving very like Lord of the Rings, but the books, where it's like the battles are 3 sentences, and then like the walking pages.
800 pages.
But at least
it took Frodo like at least 200 pages to get out of the Shire. So
I swear to God it did though. Oh my God.
Min 200 pages. But no. But yeah, we're getting a lot of outside the ring action this week. Which is, it's great. Again.
Love to see it. I'm not complaining.
We're developing a lot of characters here in this little time period. So let's get into it. It jumps from the rip with a banger. So it has from the rip, it has the tag team championship match. The British Bulldog and Owen Hart are accompanied by Clarence Mason. Shawn Michaels is, of course, accompanied by Jose Lothario. They don't really play too much of a factor in this match. They gave us a little recap of the last couple weeks and the close encounters between Shawn Michaels and Sycho Sid, and just kind of filling us in on the tension that exists right now.
Yeah, reminding us of the tenseness of it all.
We've had a lot of kind of close calls between the two, as far as like near misses and miscommunications, all of which leading up to the main event of the pay-per-view coming up, where Sycho Sid will take on Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. But for now, they're going to have to put that aside and try and get this match done. Sycho Sid comes out, and we could not help but make mention of how dewy this man is at all times.
Dewy is an understatement. He is slick.
Stopping wet at all times.
Ripping. And I was like, that has to be like literally he's about to come from behind the curtain and someone is just staying there and is like, okay,
right,
and like dumps a cup of water on his head so he's like wet, or like someone with like a spray bottle, something. Or
I like the idea that somebody's just like constantly following him around, just misting him with a spray bottle.
And you know what?
I think that's hilarious.
That is hilarious, and it's even better than like the cup person, because the cup person could be like doing other things, like they're in costume, they're in whatever, or whatever. But the constant mister, that's your full-time job. Like someone is on the payroll at no, you don't have time. Someone is on the payroll to keep this man moist at all times if he's wrestling, and like I could see that. I can envision the spray bottle. I can envision like the little intern doing it,
also profusely sweating, just like
like genuinely sweating, whereas Sycho Sid is just like
right
sweating. I don't know, but he's always so drippy droppy all over,
all of the time, because I just don't understand like where this is coming from.
And it made me second guess when he was late the one time, and he like peekabooed out, and it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, was the water girl late? Or
right, 100%.
He was 100%. Like, I can't walk out yet because I'm not wet enough.
I'm not damp enough. I can't. I don't know why you want me to face
girl
the world.
Or boy or whomever. Like
WWF champion Shawn Michaels makes his entrance, and the camera cuts to a little fan in the crowd, dressed to the nines in their best Shawn Michaels costume, and Jerry the King comes out of the woodwork with Now I know why animals eat their young. And it's just like, leave that little girl alone.
Girl alone in her little costume. The mom is like hoisting her up, like so she could be like see. And literally, it was so quick. And again, this is just the King's way. It was so quick where you just like it takes you a second, then you're like,
Yeah, 100%. You're like, you really said that about this like little 4-year-old girl. I was like, Jesus Christ,
this
man.
is why animals eat their young. I really, really can't.
No,
But you gotta love it.
I know. But after we kind of get the entrances, we cut to Stone Cold, who is backstage, basically just to give us a little promo, basically saying that he's not going to apologize for anything. He says that Vince has been apologizing a lot, and he finds it kind of pathetic. So he says he's not going to apologize for the events last week. And actually, Bret Hart is on notice because apparently Bret Hart is in the building. That after he's done with Bob Holly, he's coming for Bret Hart. So that
Crazy.
was kind of he's coming out swinging. We know as of like the last 3 weeks or so, he is becoming the main player. So once again, he is showing up in almost every segment, whether it's his or not. And I know that that's done very intentionally,
Right.
to show that like he's not ever going to be okay with the spotlight being on somebody else. He doesn't understand why there is even anybody else.
Yeah, like literally trying to eliminate everybody. And I just love that about him. I think it is interesting. Last week was so crazy.
Right.
So crazy. And that was the only mention of it, which I think we were talking about this privately. I don't think we talked about this in the episode where you were like, I think that they got in trouble for that episode.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it would kind of make sense that they didn't even do like a recap. They didn't even do a recap of it or like mention. That was the only mention. And I was like, I wonder if there was like they had to just be like, let's not talk about it right now so that we don't get like embroiled in a lawsuit, or if there was like a pending lawsuit. Like, I don't know, but it gave like they probably did get in trouble for it and couldn't really speak about it, because I was surprised they didn't even because it was so tense and they showed it so many times as it was happening. I was surprised they didn't bring it up again.
Right.
But
you'd think that would be like a more bigger issue, being that Stone Cold last week at the end of the episode was being held at gunpoint.
Guns, breaking and entering, broken glasses, wife screaming. I thought it was going to be like a cold open recap of that event, like
right.
That's what I thought.
Happened
I was
after like him getting taken to the police station, like somebody paying oh, you know what they should have done? They should have taken him to the police station, and then they should have like shown like Vince McMahon paying his bail.
Ooh, see, that would have been crazy. And I guess we'll get into because there's a Stone Cold and a Vince McMahon at the very end. There's like a weird interaction that we were like, what was that? But that would have been perfect. That would have been amazing. And then Vince McMahon helicopters him back to
just proving Stone Cold's point that he's too important to let anything happen to him,
100%. That would have been amazing. But again, I guess I don't know, maybe if they didn't think of it, that's
they
upsetting.
Definitely I'm telling you, they got in trouble with the network for that segment, because there's no way you would feature something that prominently on one episode and then not even acknowledge it the next, without having had some kind of pushback.
Yeah, and even and I know Stone Cold not apologizing for it completely makes sense, but it was almost he was like, I'm pleading not guilty.
Right. 100%. He's like, no further questions.
Not guilty. I know he wouldn't have apologized regardless, but it was just also giving not guilty.
Right. So that kind of segues us out of Stone Cold's little promo. We get back to the match. The match opens with Owen getting whipped into the corner, sternum first. It is the hardest thud. Poor guy looked dazed.
And it was from across. It wasn't even close. It was so far away, and he really got tossed into it though. Oh, I felt like he got his breath knocked out of him. Oh my god, it was poor guy. It was tough.
Yeah, so this match it was for the tag team championship, but the bigger plot point is the building tension between the number one contender and the champion. So we kind of, during the match, we get a lot of the tag team champions doing what they do best. A lot of double teams, a lot of sneaking around the referee. There's this recurring kind of theme that every time Sycho Sid enters the ring, to kind of call attention to something that's happening to Shawn. It's having like the opposite effect because the referee is more concerned with getting him out of the ring
Yep.
than what is happening to Shawn. So thus it
Mm-hmm.
just opens up Shawn for getting absolutely like massacred by
Wrecked.
the tag team
Yeah.
champions over and over again.
Yeah.
So
And Jerry the King was like insinuating that it was intentional. He
right.
was like, I think that Sycho Sid is doing this intentionally. And like, instead of like trying to get in there and be like, tag me, Shawn, he was like, I think he's like doing this intentionally, like distracting the ref so that he is beaten up more, so that his chances of winning on Sunday at Survivor Series are higher. And it
Higher.
was weird because it was like, and I know that's the point of the plot, is like to sow the seeds of discord, to be like, wait a minute, is that
Mm-hmm.
why he's doing it? Because it seemed genuine enough, but then you're like,
Right.
what's actually
Exactly.
happening here, Sycho Sid? What's going on? Like, it was, I love when they do those little things. They just stir the pot a little. I love to stir the
Oh,
pot.
always.
I
Jerry
love
the
to stir the
King.
pot.
Jerry the King, that's his job. His
I
job is to
love
stir the
that.
pot.
It
So
worked.
yeah, so there was a lot of that. Shawn again selling like, his life depends on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get eventually he gets the tag to Sycho Sid. Sycho Sid gets the hot tag. But what's impressive in like this little segment of the match is the suplex that the British Bulldog does on Sycho Sid. Because Sycho Sid is a just like gargantuan man, and to see him completely being carried upside down, and like you see like the when you're looking at them from like a profile view, like the British Bulldog goes up to, however tall he is, and then there's just Sycho Sid just like
Like, there's a whole
towering
other
above,
man. Yeah.
just like towering above him, and he just like it's a show of like the Bulldog's like strength that
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he gets enough credit for generally,
I
like as a wrestler.
completely agree. Yeah. And it's like, because when he did that, I was like, I mean, he is just so impressive. And I think I personally get caught up sometimes in like good bad. I'm like, they're the bad guys, man. Like they like cheat, and they like do the
Mm-hmm.
tag team. They do like their little like sleight of hand, and it's not fair and whatever. But then he does stuff like that, and I'm like, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, he's such a good wrestler. He's so incredible, and he really has like, especially their tag team. And I know we've talked about this a million times, but like them as a tag team are just incredible.
So
And
cohesive.
we've talked about it a million times. They just spend a lot of time together, but like that suplex, we were like, oh my God,
It was
so wild.
A1. We kind of once again kind of get a little bit of like a confusion. We have Owen and Shawn going in like one corner. We have the British Bulldog and Sycho Sid in another corner. And so at one point, Sycho Sid is kind of like knocked down in like the corner, and Shawn has disposed of Owen, knocking him out of the ring, and he looks
Mm-hmm.
like he is posing to get the British Bulldog hit with the sweet chin music. So as that's happening, right behind the Bulldog, Sycho Sid is also getting up to his feet. So at the last moment when Shawn's about to pull the trigger, the British Bulldog inevitably moves out of the way, thus striking Sycho Sid right in the mouth, which allows the tag team champions to sneak in and get the pinfall. Because as Shawn Michaels is about to interfere with the count, he gets yanked out from the ring by Owen Hart.
Yep.
So that
A mess.
puts a end to that, and that kick knocks out Sycho Sid. He's out for the count, and
Yeah. And
then
then,
the tag team champions basically like use that opportunity to then take out Shawn, leaving them both wiped
yes.
out in the ring.
Yeah, Owen Hart did some sort of, it was like so quick and so whatever, and then the next thing it was like Shawn Michaels is knocked out, and I was like, oh my God, the two of them just laid out. And
Uh,
like, it was crazy because we knew they weren't gonna win, we knew it was gonna create tension, we knew it was gonna blow up, we knew it was gonna be a mess. I did not think it was gonna go down like that. I don't know how I thought it was gonna go down, but when he, and that's the best part about this too, is like people are like, it's like quote unquote like fake, or like, it's like orchestrated, or like you can kind of deduce what's gonna happen.
right.
I knew they weren't gonna win, but I was still like, when he hit him
Mm-hmm.
with the sweet chin music, and he was just like, no, like Shawn Michaels was like, no, and
Oh
then
my god, so
you were like,
dramatic.
no way, and you said it, you were like, well, you knew, and I was like, no, I know, but it's still crazy, it's still
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous, and like, just a mess, girl, a
Yeah,
mess.
and that's been the name of this whole story. Is just like things were going too well. Like they were too buddy buddy. Like it
It's
had to,
true.
the waters had to get a little muddled. Like there's just no way.
And so true.
We transition out of that with the two of them just in the middle of the ring, and then it transitions into a Bret Hart kind of response vignette to the one that we had last week from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Basically, it's just kind of like, it's flashing back and forth between like black and white and like the red and black. Basically, just being like, I don't want to wrestle anybody. Like I want to wrestle the best. So like that's why he's like coming back. He's like, we will see like who kicks whose ass. That is like the reoccurring thing that they keep like pulling out of
Yeah.
the back and forth kind of interview that they had.
That was it was interesting because I said to Xavier, like, I have only ever seen Bret Hart in normal clothes. Like I've never seen him wrestle, him and Mr. Freaking Perfect, but I've never seen Bret Hart wrestle. And so first of all, get a little taste of the fit.
Right.
Interesting. Not what I expected. But also I was like, this is dumb and obvious, but I was like, I didn't process like how actually humongous he is, like in terms of muscle. Like he is huge. And because again, I've only been seeing him in normal clothes and it just didn't register. And like I was like, I saw him in that wrestling singlet and I was like, wait, he's
right.
big.
Yeah,
He's
dude. He's
very
like
large.
deceptively strong. Like he's somebody who like a wrestler who's like more known for being like very technical, but like something about it is he doesn't get enough credit for how strong he is.
I mean, he looks strong.
Yeah, but that's just not his bread and butter. Like he doesn't rely on it mainly, so it's not ever something that kind of gets like mentioned in the same breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was interesting. I thought it was a pretty good promo, the back and forth, I was
Yeah.
very intrigued.
After the match, it cuts to Kevin Kelly backstage, basically saying, like, and it looks like just like a tornado had just passed through the backstage area.
So
First
true.
of all, kudos to Kevin
Say it.
Kelly. Kudos to Kevin Kelly for showing up to work this week after being like
Swear
put in a hostage situation, like literally the week prior.
he
But
wants all the smoke.
if he doesn't win Employee of the Month, I don't know what they're doing.
He needs a raise, Employee of the Month. He needs a plaque. He needs something. But I was also like, I'm just saying, Kevin Kelly, the way he was acting last week, which as any sane person would be, like this, like he was like, this is the craziest thing. Like he was freaking out, whatever. And then here he is in the back trying to get between Sycho Sid and Shawn Michaels after what just happened. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm starting to feel like Kevin Kelly is a closet thrill seeker. Like he like lives for this moment, even though in the moment he's like, this is dangerous and this is crazy, whatever. And then he's like, put my name down for next week.
100%.
Put my name down for next week. I
He's just
just
like
love it.
living for the thrill, like living for the
Like
thrill.
living for it. And honestly, I love it. I love Kevin. Go off, King.
Honestly, and so basically, he's telling us that like Shawn and Sycho Sid had to be like forcibly separated into separate dressing rooms because apparently they had been going at it like throughout the vignette or whatever. And that he would get like follow up with us with either both competitor, whichever one he can get to is essentially what he gives us. So on that note, we transition into a kind of more pay-per-view promotional stuff as the other two Survivor Series matches were announced. The first one being we're going to see the team of Farouk, Vader, the Fake Razor, and Fake Diesel facing Savio Vega, Yokozuna, the debuting Flash Funk, who has wrestled in other promotions under other names. I'm pretty sure he was at ECW as Too Cool Scorpio. Would have been way better. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's who Flash Funk is. That's in my head. So he's a very like a high flying kind of wrestler.
Okay.
You're gonna see a lot of flips from him, a lot of running all over the place.
Okay.
And on their team, we have a mystery opponent who apparently is Big T. I don't know. They made it sound like it was Big T, and that we will all be very excited about the presence of this last competitor.
Yeah, Doc was like, when this person comes out, the crowd is gonna erupt, blow the top off Madison Square Garden. I was like, I swear to God, if they bring out the real Jesse James, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm gonna lose it.
I'm gonna lose it because
if they give me anything that isn't like a former champion, I'm gonna be pissed.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they announced another Survivor Series match, which is more kind of tag team centric. So we're going to see the New Rockers teaming with the tag team champions, the British Bulldog and Owen Hart, facing the Godwins and Doug. I don't even know their names. Doug Farias and Phil LaFawn. I don't know these people. Never heard of them. And like the best part about it is on the promo, they were very clearly like on the like promotional poster, whatever. It's very clear like these are wrestler like pictures they've used before many times, been done, and but they gave us for these two no names the most pixelated half-ass like what was that? We
like
got
in
look at me
motion,
look at me in the eyes. There is no way you had all of these professional ass photos for all of these people, and you're gonna give me your MySpace grain and tell me that that is an acceptable production value. Do not take that back to the drawing board and take that somewhere else.
Do better.
Insulting. That was horrible.
Upsetting, especially because they're not like well-known faces. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like, be a jerk, but like we don't know who they are. So like at least get a clear picture so we can start somewhere. Like
right,
it's just like
100%.
a blur, like as if it was Bigfoot. Like
they
blurry.
literally said, "Don't even bother learning who they are. It doesn't matter."
Such a mess. Oh my god, it's so true.
It's just
They're
like
whatever.
Right, 100. Like that's the energy they put into that, and I was like,
Oh,
"Wow,
upsetting."
you really just gave us that trash."
It gave us, I swear it gave us night before, forgot the assignment was due.
100% did it.
Got that off of like the archives somewhere, blurry in the background. Sure, crop it, put it up there, whatever. It's really, really hurtful, to be honest. I expected better.
All right, and then we have our that's my 2 cents on that. And after my outrage, we transition into Mankind with Paul Bearer and the Executioner facing Freddie boots the house down Floyd. So
every time he did not need to be in this match. I'm sorry. He didn't deserve this. Poor Freddie Joe Floyd. He didn't deserve to be honestly, up against Mankind before Survivor Series.
Freddie stands.
Swear to God. Okay, amen. Like, and what? Fight me about it. I don't care because
Kelsey just did not need to see him fed to Mankind. That was
that
was not what we needed.
For what? Give him to somebody else. He didn't need that.
100%. So Freddie comes out swinging. He really like starts like peppering Mankind, like, and that's the thing with Freddie. Like he always comes out hot. Like he always starts the match.
He always blows the lead. We'll say
100%. I had a note that they kept cutting to the Executioner on the outside, and like mind you, they kept cutting like really close into his face, which by the way, just completely. It looked like Mr. Incredible just in a mask, and like that's what they just kept cutting to, and like Mr. Incredible without the incredible costume is just a dude, like is just a dude working at a bank, like so they just kept cutting to this guy, and I was like, he's getting less and less intimidating every time you cut to him, because all I'm seeing is that Spirit Halloween costume, and every time I look at it, I was like, that's tacky. That's
tacky. Cheap. You can feel the texture from looking at it.
100%. And
that's how you know.
The like axe that he is like is like miniature. It like literally looks like a little baby axe.
Yeah, little
Executioner. I was like, whose head are you chopping out? You can maybe do a foot.
Maybe do a toe, the big toe, because it's got like gout or something, but that's about it.
I was like, you're not executing nobody.
Yeah, it's just it's still, there's no explanation. It makes no sense. If you think about it, like we literally met this person last pay-per-view and we're about to be in the next pay-per-view and we know literally nothing about him. We have no interest in him other than he's like dragging on the coattails of Mankind and Paul Bearer for reasons we do not know.
Right.
Who
100%.
is he? Where did we get him? Why is he on this team?
In the context of like the like Buried Alive match, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like Executioner, like got it.
I could see it.
But like he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He's just there. Like I don't understand like what is he bringing to the table that like is elevating like Mankind and Paul Bearer. You know what I mean? Like
Because they
what?
don't need it.
No,
That's just that. I'm sorry. That's just that on that.
they're
They don't even need it.
batshit crazy enough on their own. They don't need any help. They don't
Why is
need
the
it.
executioner the most normal one there?
That's what I'm saying.
What's
He might as well be
happening?
wearing like cotton Dockers. Like, who
Uh,
cares?
uh,
Like,
I actually, when you said Mr. Incredible, I was like, it's actually giving more like when Buddy tries to join Mr. Incredible. It's like, what are we
yes,
doing? With
yes.
that, he made it like he cut little holes out of a blue sock. Like, I don't know. What are we
No,
doing?
the executioner can go, but
You may
so we
see
get
yourself out.
100%. So, as we know, Freddy's getting fed to Mankind. Mankind delivers the most sickening pile driver,
Oh,
like essentially
oh,
turning Freddy Joe's like tights into a thong in the process,
oh
and
my,
then like, and
oh
then
my God.
proceeds to mandible claw his ass, just absolutely, just right down the gullet.
And he like hyped it up. He like walked around with it
Oh yeah,
out,
yeah,
and
mm-hmm,
it just makes me
mm-hmm.
so uncomfortable. Which is the purpose. I get it, but like he just like
No,
took
like
the
you get
mandible
like
claw.
physically like
I do. I
uncomfortable.
literally
Like
gag.
you're like,
Like
oh, I hate it every
I
time.
hate it. Like just like he takes it. He like took it for a walk like around the ring, and then like
Oh,
just like
he did his Princess Diana wave and then shoved it down his
sweat.
throat.
Oh, wait, really quick. Speaking of Princess Diana, this is like such a jump, but also during this match, for no reason, Jerry the King decided to just like go off on Barbara Streisand.
Oh my god, that was
I
so
don't know
funny
why
and
I like
random.
jumped to that whatever,
No,
but like is Barbara Streisand my Princess Diana? Kind of. But like it was just out of the blue, he was like, yeah, I saw Barbara Streisand on Oprah
it,
this morning, like talk about watching paint dry. And we were
I,
like,
we were like, oh, is she here? Like
Is she
what?
is
Like
she in
what's
the room
going
with
on?
us now? Like, what is this? Are
I
you
was like,
like,
I didn't
did
really
she
need to
jilt
know.
you?
Like what?
It was so weird. And then and we are like, that was weird. And then he kept going. He was like, oh, like when she looks in the mirror, her reflection throws up. And I was like, ah,
What? Honestly, I was like, what do you have? Like,
what is
what do you just
this?
hate voices of generations? Like, what's the deal? Like, what's going on?
Do you hate star power and
like,
talent and genuine human spirit?
like, what's the
Gross.
deal, Jerry? What's the deal?
For no reason. So hurtful. Sorry.
So, no, you're good.
I had to come to Barbara's defense. I don't know.
But someone had to.
Someone had to because
Came
that
for
was
her
just
neck. Just no one came for him.
unprovoked.
Unprovoked. That was the word I was
Unprovoked.
looking for. So we get to the end of the match, and Mankind is obviously the victor, but his victory is cut short because we get the Undertaker gong. His music hits, and the
Ooh,
lights start flickering.
ooh, I
And
got
like,
chills all over again.
you think that's gonna be like, enough, just a little like, spook you, but no. Here he comes over the arena once again. He said, "Creatures of the night." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Me, me,
Yeah,
me, me."
I was like, oh, me? I was like,
No, 100%. He's talking to me. Basically, he's saying he's gonna usher in a new era of darkness. He said, "This is just the beginning of your torture, Paul Bear." Yeah, it was just such a fun. It was just so excellently executed,
mm,
coupled with Paul Bear's and Mankind's like reactions to
yep,
everything. So
yep.
during the Undertaker's like he's going off, and the cage from last week is lowering. This time, no surprises. He said, "I want you to see it coming. I
Oh,
want you to know."
ooh,
I
nice
was
and
like,
slow
because there's
too.
nothing you're gonna do about it. He said, yeah, it was fantastic. And then the Mankind at the end of it starts like slamming his body into the cage just because like he starts losing it. And Paul Bear's reaction to seeing his dummy is he doesn't even want to look at it. Like
Yeah, he was like,
like hiding, like he just like doesn't like cannot fathom like what's coming.
so
So
great.
it's it's just so excellent because
It's
we
so
haven't
good.
seen the Undertaker since he was buried alive.
Which is crazy. We haven't even seen him. Not once, anywhere. It's
Right.
so wild.
So which is I love it. I love that
Love
like
it.
I love that he can be so intimidating and you don't even have to look at him. He's not even there.
Oh,
No,
I wish I had that kind of power.
I know, honestly. So that match is gonna absolutely slap.
I
So
cannot wait. Oh my
me
God.
either, dude. Me either. That transitions us into a promo from the debuting Rocky Maivia. So this is our
Yes.
first look at The Rock. We see kind of cuts of him training in the ring. You kind of get a glimpse of like his athleticism. He was strutting around these tiny little shorts, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh yeah.
We really get like a different person than what we
Yep.
are accustomed to.
Yeah.
This is a very, very young, very hasn't found his voice yet, very happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they go into like the history of his family, which we kind of talked about last week.
Yeah.
And they don't shy away from that. They're very much like they want to get him over with the fans, basically on the legacy of his father and grandfather. That's kind of like how
Perfect.
because he is the first third generation superstar. He's like there have been second generation superstars, obviously, but
Right.
he's like the first one to kind of like for it to be like a legacy kind of wrestler. Like he like wrestling is in his blood. Like so
Yes.
that's kind of how they're presenting him. So it's just fun. It's just fun to see The Rock be,
Yeah.
like coming out like onto the scene with his like flippy little hair
I
and
love
like
it.
he's just like stoked, like he's excited and it's palpable and I can't wait to see the shift in where he is right now. So when he really starts like settling into like the Rock character,
Mm-hmm.
because like it's so funny.
I
He
can't wait.
is so funny.
Because right
Uh
now this is giving that like that me or that photo of him that like I don't know if it's was considered a headshot, but that photo of him that went like viral where he's like leaning on the banister and like the turtleneck and the chain and the
yes.
like it's very much the essence of that, which I love
Mm-hmm.
also.
So Rocky Maivia will be making his debut at the Survivor Series, in the 4-on-4 match that will also feature Mark Miro. Next, it cuts to Kevin Kelly, who is backstage with Sycho Sid, and he is big mad.
Big, 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 big man.
Right. So basically, Sycho Sid goes on to list the kind of close calls that he's had with Shawn Michaels over the last couple of weeks. Basically, it gives the same like vibe as like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, he's um, like, was the week one a mistake? Maybe. Was week two a mistake? Probably. Was week three? I don't
I don't
know.
care anymore.
Right. And then he said, and this week, like you kicked me straight in my face. Mistake or not, I'm coming to take you off the mountain.
Mm.
Essentially, he goes, I'm going to take you off the mountain and I'm going to rise to the top. And there isn't anybody that can cast a stone to knock me off. And he's like, why? Why? He starts like screaming. He's like, I'm the ruler of the world. And I was like,
Mm.
all right, the master and the ruler.
Yeah. I have to say, as far as Psycho Sid interviews
Promos?
went, I
That was
didn't
the
think
best
it
one.
was thank you. Okay. It was
That
I
was
was like,
the
that was
best one.
actually the best one without a doubt. He had no stutter, no stammer. He knew exactly what he wanted to say. And there was like one part where I was like, ooh, because I thought he was gonna end it and then he kept going and I was like, oh, this could be bad. But then it got better. And then it
Right.
was like, and then it ended perfectly. And I was like, oh, actually, that was amazing.
Right. No,
He was
it was
like
good. He
red as
he re
hell, veiny. Mm.
yeah, like you like and it showed like he like recapped the feud, he like
Yes.
brought up the pay-per-view, he like made himself like put himself like as the victor, in his mind in
Mm.
the promo. He like, he hit everything he like needed to hit before
Yes.
like heading into a number one contender like match. You know what I mean? Like he did everything he needed to do to successfully like set himself up as far as like where he stands in like the fans' minds. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's a really good point.
So far and away the best promo that we've gotten from Sycho Sid, for
Without
sure.
a doubt.
So next they like announced the main event match being Stone Cold versus Bob Holly, but we have a couple backstage pieces we got to get to first. So
Yes.
essentially Stone Cold, so basically it cuts to Stone Cold Steve Austin backstage, and essentially it goes into like he goes into being like Bret Hart has like all of these things that he's returning for, like his family, his fans, and he's like, that's the reason why you're going to lose. I don't
Mm.
have to fight for anybody but myself. I don't have anybody's expectations, anybody's anything on me. I was like, all I got to do is worry about numero uno. And we all know he's really good at looking out for numero uno.
It's true.
And then he once again reiterates that we don't have to wait till Madison Square Garden. We can get it all right now.
He's like, you can catch these hands in 10 minutes.
He said, as soon as I'm done with Bob, I'm coming for you.
I got Bob scheduled, pens in. I got him right here, but I can put you in right afterwards, and I will.
Don't worry. I'm coming. I
love it.
So like all this whole episode, we're like, he's coming for Bret. He's gonna come for Bret. You know, like that is the hamster wheel that we have been placed on and are now running.
Yeah, 100%.
We transitioned out of Stone Cold Steve Austin's backstage segment back to Kevin Kelly, who is now with Shawn Michaels, who one is just in a towel because of course he is. Like,
yeah, no,
he also cuts just like a ridiculous promo. Like, it's so good.
So good.
Basically, Shawn goes in to talk about all of these like wrestlers who have been kind of like slyly mentioning him and kind of other things. And he really goes on to be like, you all want to talk all of this trash, but like I have kicked all of your teeth in, like at one point or another. So
which
what do you have to say about that? And then he goes on to say, like, accident or not, I still knocked you out, Sycho Sid. I was like, I knocked you out cold. So what are you gonna do when I'm actually trying to hurt you? When I'm actually coming for you? And then at one point he goes, and with that big chin you're sporting around, I could hit it anywhere from Madison Square Garden.
Which was so unnecessarily hurtful, but actually completely necessary. And like, it was a really hurtful thing to say that I wasn't prepared for. Like, I wasn't about to say, like, okay, big chin. I could see your big chin from across Madison Square. I was like, we're talking about chins
he's like the
now?
crimson chin. Like
I literally was gonna say, here comes the crimson chin. But like, I was like, we're throwing around big chin now? Dang. It's getting dark over here. I did not expect for us to go that route. Oh my God.
And then like the final kind of like cap it up is, I want your respect, Sycho Sid, and I have to beat it out of you. That's what I'm gonna do. And then we cut to a kind of scene of Bret Hart watching the match backstage. So Bret Hart is in the building, confirmed, and obviously Bret Hart is again a master technician. That man does his homework. If he's going to be wrestling you, he knows everything about you.
He's got the tapes.
And
he's got the tapes. He's in the classroom. He's watching. He's taking notes. He's sipping his decaf coffee, according to JR.
Right.
Who knows him like the back of his hand.
Apparently, right. Because JR's got it like that with everybody. And then it is announced that Stone Cold is going to be taking on Vader next week.
Which is crazy.
So
they just sprinkled that right in.
Right. So for the podcast purposes, that is not going to be the next episode. It's going to be the episode after that. The next episode that we are going to be watching from this point is going to be the Survivor Series pay-per-view. So that one's going to be a doozy. So we get back to the main event. I'm lying. We haven't even gotten to the main event yet. Haven't even gotten there.
No,
it actually cuts to another Stone Cold vignette. This one's also all in black and white, and it just starts with pink tights. What's that about?
This ain't the ballet, son.
Yeah.
Xavier and I laughed so hard. I missed like the whole like 3 seconds afterwards of whatever he said, because it's like it cuts to the same like junkyard, abandoned building, black and white, barking dog, chain link fence, and then it's just pink tights. What's up with that?
And you're just like, okay. I was like, of all the things you want to call this man out for, of all of the reasons you want to fight this man, it's the pink tights that did it. It's the
pink tights. This ain't the ballet, son. I was like,
amazing.
Big chin, tights. I don't even know where we're going. We're on such a journey. I don't even know what's happening.
We have lost all respect for each other.
No one is at the wheel. No one is at the wheel. No one is charting a proper course. It's just I don't know.
So essentially this match was the match itself was actually more competitive than I thought it was going to be, considering that we
Bob
are
Holly
ju-
went off.
underrated. Bob Holly. Bob
Went
Holly is a
off.
workhorse. That man can have a good match with almost anybody, but he has the personality of a stale Triscuit. So
Oh my God, that's so hurtful.
I'm so sorry. You'll see. There's a
No, I
reason
get
you
it.
haven't really heard Bob Holly
Well,
talk.
because
Like,
and it's so upsetting because when Bob Holly, I'm like, oh my God, Bob Holly, I forget about him every time. What a sin. I'm so sorry. But like when he wrestles, I'm like, okay, Bob Holly, he goes
dude,
off, he goes crazy.
I know.
He goes
He's so
crazy.
talented.
And it's wild that they even let this match get so insane against Stone Cold when he's supposed to, I feel like, be looking, and again, still beating Bob Holly the way that he did, he still comes across as strong and whatever. But I was like, I thought he was going to come in there just smoking. But
Right.
like, it was a real back and forth for a while.
And I think part of my one of the draws of this match was JR and Vince going back and forth on commentary,
Just flicking each other like this.
Essentially just like naming the moves. Basically, like any move that like a wrestler like did, JR would be like, "That's a Hurricane Rana, Vince," and he's like, and Vince is like, "And that's a right hand,"
And that's a clothesline. And we're like,
and then at one point, JR goes, "Or what a maneuver," right? Like, because Vince says that so frequently that
yeah.
he was just like, oh, the shade. It got so dark in there all of a sudden. I was
Oh,
like, damn.
I'm blind.
100%. I was like, wow, he really brought out the umbrella. Damn. So
The what a maneuver really took me out. Like, oh,
the
what
what
a
a
maneuver,
maneuver.
right, fans? I was like,
Like,
oh, I was like, oh God, so petty.
brutal. And then during that little like back and forth, Stone Cold gives us the stunner and gets the 1-2-3 victory because that has been foolproof for him thus far.
Mm-hmm. The stunner
Nobody,
is a scary move.
nobody has kicked out, and especially because this one they like played it back in like slow mo. You
And
really
from a
saw,
different angle.
right, and JR did a really good job of being like, look, his shoulder goes right into his throat. Like he really like did a good job of selling it to the fans by making it be like why that is such a devastating maneuver.
Yeah, because I honestly didn't realize that's what it was. Because also it happens so quickly, and I always think it's just like their forehead or their face or something, which also horrible. But there's something about the throat. It's just like to
because there's something
dropped.
like so you know it's soft. It like gives you like a
It that like
delicate
gotta
kind of
protect
like
the neck. Like I don't
right.
know, like just something about it, and like to be dropped on like especially it's not like Stone Cold has a dainty little shoulder.
No,
Like that's a big.
that's the big boy.
That's the big boy that's like running into a rock. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah,
I was
no.
like, oh, I didn't realize it was like that. And he like poor Bob Holly. He really got it. But
So then Stone
great
Cold
match.
goes backstage and starts looking for Bret Hart, and we think like this is it.
It's
They're gonna
about
get
to
it
go
on. Like
down.
it's gonna
Yep, yep.
happen. And he gets all the way to Bret Hart's door, and he turns to the camera and he goes, "I bet that's what you'd like me to do, isn't it?" And we were all like, "Yeah, that's what you told us you were gonna do. That was the whole thing. That was you all day long. We're saying we don't have to wait. We gonna do it." But he goes, I bet that's what you'd want me to do." And he's like, "Actually, no, you're going to have to pay for it. If you want to see this, you're going to have to drop some money." Like, and I was like, okay, like, sure. Like, don't get me wrong. Great. But then he starts like rattling on the door as if it's locked. But at one point, you very clearly see the door open.
Yep.
And he's just standing there, like in front of it. And he's like yelling through the door like at Bret, and meanwhile Vince McMahon's like, "Get in there," and you're like, "Wait, what do you mean get in there? That is like the draw of your pay-per-view. What do you mean get in there?"
I was like, babe, do you not understand? Like
I was
he
like,
can't
"Did you not
he
get in
can't
trouble last week?" Like what?
like and JR's like, don't do it. Like, don't do it, Stone Cold. Like, be the bigger man. Or he said something like weird.
Right.
And then Vince is like, get in there, do it. Like literally yelling. And I was like,
right. It's like,
what's
relax.
happening right now? Like what?
Why are you so pressed about him going in there? Like
Pressed like a panini. And Jerry the King? Not a word.
Silent.
Not a word.
Silent. So, and that's how the episode
ends. That's how it ends.
Right. That's that on that.
That's that on
so, guys, we are set up for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. We are going to have 3 separate Survivor Series matches, which are elimination tag team matches.
Wild.
We're going to have Sycho Sid versus Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship.
Oh.
We are going to see The Undertaker versus Mankind with Paul Bearer suspended above the ring. We are going to see the in-ring return of Bret the Hitman Hart taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin for the first time, I might add. And we are also going to have a couple more debuts of what's his name? Something Funk. Flash Funk and The Rock is debuting, which is
The Rock.
Listen.
I mean, bring your snacks for the next episode. Bring your coffee, bring your snacks, bring your treats, like, because it's gonna be
a doozy. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be good.
As always, thank you for joining us on the New to Wrestling podcast, wherever you find us. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next week.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.